With Tears of the Kingdom releasing next week, we've made the ultimate list of games you need to play before its release. This episode does not contain any spoilers. Welcome to the Switch Clicks podcast, episode 134, recorded on May 2nd, 2023. My name is Nathan, and I'm joined by Dakota.
Yo.
And Tyler.
Hello.
Okay, so, as y'all know already, Tears of the Kingdom's coming May 12th.
Really? Huh?
Huh? Yeah. In case you didn't remember, we are pretty much 10 days away. Well, at the time of this recording, it's almost 9 days away, I guess. And even though it's a little more over a week, we still have a list of Zelda games that you could play. Maybe, watch TLDR videos or something like that, and catch yourself up before Tears of the Kingdom comes around.
Or just be like a really good speed runner at games you've never played before and just knock them all out.
Yeah, just do a marathon of speedruns across these games, even though some of them might take hours.
Yeah, well.
Or minutes.
Depending
on how good you are.
Depends on how good you are. Okay, first and foremost, let's just get the most obvious game out of the way. Breath of the Wild. Okay.
Yeah, I might want to play that one.
Yeah,
that would make sense.
Like, not only is it the same world and same Link and same characters and whatnot, it's also on the Switch, so I'm not sure if this is going to happen, but there probably is going to be like save data bonuses or something if you play that. Other than that, there's nothing else I could say. You have to play this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Within 9 days, I mean, sure, you could probably accomplish that. Just speed through the story, ignore the side quests. You could probably do that.
Watch like the world record speed run, just copy what they do.
Yeah, do that.
Exactly.
Do a glitchless run if you can't do the glitches.
Yeah.
I was kind of considering playing through Breath of the Wild again before it came out, but then I'm like, I'm the type of person that I get really into a game and I don't want to stop. I don't want to get burnt out again.
Yeah, I can understand the feeling there.
I have yet to beat Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, and if I don't get burnt out with Breath of the Wild, then I'll get burnt out halfway through Tears of the Kingdom. So,
yeah,
fair enough.
And Tyler, at last I checked, you haven't beaten this game yet?
Nope. No, probably should. Honestly, I'll probably get on that. Maybe tonight. I might work on it tonight.
Do it tonight.
Yeah. See, at least start the game. Yeah, that could probably be good. Actually, I think I am a little bit into the game, although I haven't opened it up in years.
I can help you out like right now if you wanted to.
I think
I've memorized the main parts of the game on the back of my head.
Now I have a whole new game to memorize.
Oh gosh, I do not.
It's gonna be. I mean, I have to imagine some stuff carries over.
Yeah,
a majority.
Yeah. Locate like terrain, general locations, the usual stuff. Yeah, if you're looking for this game, it's on the Wii U, it's on the Nintendo Switch. It's full price though.
Insane to play it on the Wii U, I have to say. In anticipation of Tears of the Kingdom, let me boot up Wii U Breath of the Wild.
You can't even technically buy it on the Wii U digitally.
Yeah, you'd have to pay for an inflated price to get the physical copy. So good luck. If you just so happen to want the Wii U version.
Good luck for those Wii U Breath of the Wild enjoyers that don't have the game yet.
Yeah. If you're up to spice things up, then maybe buy yourself a Nintendo Labo VR kit and play this game on VR mode.
Oh.
90% of this game works in VR mode, but let's just say 90% of the time you'll get motion sickness.
Yeah, that you do the like the speed run, like a bokoblin jump where you explode a bomb in their heads and go flying, but in VR.
Oh, that is gonna lag the game so badly.
And also, you'd be spinning like crazy. That is like peak motion sickness, probably.
Yeah. It's probably also important because we ranked this game at S tier on Play It by Tier.
Yeah, I imagine it's pretty good. Especially
it might change depending on how Tears of the Kingdom goes, but we'll see.
Yeah, it could be a Portal 2 situation.
Yeah,
it just gets better.
Is this the, I want to say, third time they've ever done a sequel to a Zelda game? Or like a direct sequel?
Let's see. 1, 2, like fourth time, I think. No, fifth.
Time?
Fourth or fifth.
I'm thinking Majora's Mask and Spirit Tracks. What other ones are there?
So Spirit Tracks is not, well, that's kind of, yeah, okay, I guess that might be. So we got Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. We got Majora's Mask, Link's Awakening. A Link Between Worlds does not really count, but at the same time it does because Japan calls it a sequel.
And there is just a game called Zelda 2.
Zelda 2?
Probably should have thought
Triforce,
be a sequel.
Triforce Heroes. Four Swords and Four Swords Adventures technically don't count because they're like hundreds of years apart. More than half the Zelda games are direct sequels, so.
Okay. I guess that, like, same Link and everything?
Yeah, same Link and whatnot.
I guess that makes sense with the time. Okay, fair enough.
Anyways, that's after Breath of the Wild, assuming you get through that or you watch the cutscenes, the next game I recommend that you play is Age of Calamity. Age of Calamity is our very, very first Play It By Two review. I also played that game to death, like maybe 400 hours of it, I think.
Insane.
Yeah. You've got to be the biggest advocate on Twitter for this game.
Actually, I might not be. I've seen people even bigger than me who've defended this game.
How?
Don't ask how. Don't ask how. Don't question it.
Yeah. And yeah, so this one is, I imagine, also is important because it is a prequel to Breath of the Wild, which is also probably important. Is it
not? Even got him started, Tyler.
Is it not? Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
This is
cross my legs in my seat.
Yeah, get ready.
Get comfortable.
This is a major beginning of the game spoiler. Age of Calamity is actually not a prequel. Nintendo just chose to market it like that to subvert expectations. Okay. The game is actually a sequel to Breath of the Wild.
Huh?
But I won't tell you why.
Okay.
There is certain aspects in the game that that involve, let's say, certain characters after Breath of the Wild.
Oh, don't worry, it's confusing even to me. I finished the game. I personally, I didn't enjoy it, but it's a good game. It's just not my thing. But I still didn't understand it.
Yeah. It's basically, it has, well, I'd say it has better music, better cinematics, but the gameplay is probably the weakest part of the game. It's going to be very repetitive. It's going to be hack and slash. It's going to be like 20 frames per second gameplay. Not everyone's thing. You might be better off just watching cutscenes for this.
Yeah. I just grinded through as fast as possible for the cutscenes, and doing that, I don't think was that worth it. Just watching it online, I think is worth it.
It might be a Zelda game I actually play, because I think the only Zelda game I've ever completed is Hyrule Warriors. So,
you know what? That makes me optimistic.
I think 3DS Hyrule Warriors too, so not even the Wii U one.
I mean, you can survive it easily then. You can survive it easily.
Yeah. But it is still necessary. Not necessary, I guess. You can skip it. But I imagine it would help for this next game. I don't know even remotely how it ties in, but I imagine it does to a degree.
Yeah, certain characters. Well, I'm just going to leave it at that. Certain characters in Tears of the Kingdom, there's something related to them in Age of Calamity, and you'll see.
Okay.
And our next game on this list, actually, I might skip ahead a bit. I kind of had this order differently. Next game on this list is Skyward Sword.
Okay.
Well, I guess 2 years ago, Skyward Sword was released on the Switch. If you wanted that, or if you happen to have
that was 2 years ago. What the
Yeah,
heck?
2 years ago. Time flies.
Time
flies.
That was in
Like,
2022.
turns into old man.
Yeah. You probably want to pick up the Switch version. No one's gonna want to play the Wii version because motion controls.
Yeah.
Haha. And why I chose this game, I guess everyone chose this game, is that this game primarily takes place up in the skies, just as Tears of the Kingdom does. And it
That makes
also
sense.
talks about it's basically like the origin story to the Master Sword. Whereas in Tears of the Kingdom, we see the Master Sword get destroyed.
Okay. So yeah, that would make sense. It is, I imagine, decently long.
Yes.
Probably not any longer than like a normal Zelda game, but
Actually, it might be longer than a regular Zelda
really?
game.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
so it might be a hard one to get out in the 9 days that you have, but still
Yeah.
possible. Just watch the world record speedrun and do that.
Yeah.
So
I don't think
And-
either of you have touched this game at all, have you?
no, well, I think I have at like a friend's house for a second.
A second.
So, yeah.
And Dakota, did you just like buy this game and never touch it?
Nope, I didn't even buy it.
You didn't even buy
will
it?
never touch it.
Even for the physicalness of the game itself, the game box.
Yeah.
To
Do
add
you
to
have
your
the
Switch
amiibo?
collection.
I do have the amiibo.
Okay.
I'll give you credit for the amiibo.
You can't really give me too much credit. It was available pretty often. It was even one of the ones at GameStop in the US. They went on for $5.
Oh my gosh.
So they're very, very, very available.
So they got scalped and then they became really cheap.
Yeah, essentially. Same with
Jeez.
the Metroid Dread amiibo.
That is shocking. Okay. I guess this is the type of game that you probably don't want to pick up and play for 9 days. It's actually better if you watch the cutscenes for it because this game is very cinematic. Probably one of the most cinematic Zelda games you'd find.
Interesting. I guess I guess that makes sense. And is there any reason beyond just it is in the sky and also Master Sword, or is there any? It's the first game, right, in the timeline.
Yeah.
So I guess if you're an insane person, that is a good place to start with Zelda games. If you want to start, if you are like that. But I think, do you think anyone like reasonably has been like, I want to get into Zelda but play it in timeline order?
Oh, that would be the biggest mistake anyone
That
would ever
sounds like
make.
a bad idea.
It is a very bad idea.
Because you're like hopping between so many different kinds of games. And then you have to like pick your path.
Yeah, exactly. You hit Ocarina of Time and you're hit with a branching like choice.
You have to
If
decide.
you commit, you don't even have to decide. You can commit either if you die in Ocarina of Time in the final battle, then you play through those games.
You have to play through those games.
It's true.
So if you're really bad at Zelda games,
if you like really want to play like Twilight Princess or something, you're like, okay, so this is what I have to do.
That's a good idea for like a subathon.
but here's the thing though. If you're really bad at Ocarina of Time and you die, you're actually stuck with some of the harder Zelda games out there.
That's true.
Most of the games in that timeline are actually difficult. I don't think any casual person would get through it without a guide.
Does Breath of the Wild, is that like a certain timeline, or is that like the timelines merge?
It's
unspecified.
Unspecified, ambiguous. Let's say
okay,
up to the player's interpretation. I'm just quoting
so
Mr.
You
O'Neill here.
Start there, I guess.
You could technically,
if that's what you're going with.
But
if you don't want to play a million Zelda games, like a psychopath in 9 days.
Yeah. Now it is important to note though that Skyward Sword was the big mainline Zelda game they released before Breath of the Wild, so there could be something related besides the big two main points about Sky and Master Sword.
Almost like the game's called the Skyward Sword or something. Yeah.
Okay, so this next game I have on my list, it's actually a good starting point for the Zelda franchise. Like, you really don't need any background info. It's Twilight
Phantom
Princess.
Hourglass. Oh shoot, sorry.
I
Yeah,
will
Phantom
absolutely,
Hourglass.
yeah, Phantom Hourglass. Yeah, unfortunately, that was
Sorry, no, Twilight Princess. Oh, I thought I
yeah.
had it there.
Twilight Princess is not on the Switch, unfortunately. But if you happen to have a GameCube, a Wii U, or if you're in
Or a
China, you have
computer.
the
Wink, wink.
if you're in China, you have the Nvidia Shield TV. You can get your hands on Twilight Princess.
Or Steam, maybe.
Nope.
I think it depends. I know
Timu
there's
only.
talks of Dolphin going onto Steam,
Simu and Dolphin. No.
Yeah.
but that
Okay. Assuming you pay full price for those games responsibly and dump those games responsibly and go through the whole process legally, sure.
Yes.
Simu and Dolphin.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, of course. Like you can get Dolphin and then dump your game onto your computer. It should be easy enough.
Anyways,
that's if you want to buy a copy, but also don't have a GameCube, Wii, or Wii U.
So why is Twilight Princess important, other than having the best Link and best Zelda?
Oh, that's a very
Best
based
designs.
comment. That's a very based comment.
Yeah.
Twilight Princess does have a segment in the game
the
where it
worst
does take
Ganondorf.
place in the sky. Like a whole dungeon takes place in the sky. You also get to meet these strange creatures called the Uka, who are basically like chicken human hybrids. They look very, very scary. Don't search them up.
I'm looking them up now.
Do not look it up.
Well, piqued my curiosity.
They are allegedly the
Just so people don't look it up, how do you spell it?
OOCCA.
Oh, it's the thing.
Oh yeah, him.
Yeah, these things are terrifying.
Yeah, those things are,
They
there's
look
that one
like
character.
the puppet, like the marionettes in Subspace Emissary with the knives on their hands, and the red glowing eyes. They look like them.
Okay. Yeah, if you don't know what these creatures are, one of them meets you like in the very first dungeon, helps you exit, and it's kind of like a save point inside a dungeon. They teleport you out of the dungeon. You can ask the companion to bring you back in. Blah blah blah. You're back in the dungeon where you left off. Anyways, Twilight Princess also has the Twilight race. These are like a group of or descendants of evil sorcerers who are banished to this Twilight realm. And the reason why people speculated this to be related to Tears of the Kingdom is because Tears of the Kingdom has a lot of these Zonai creatures. The Zonai is basically like the Hyrule equivalent to the Mayan, the Aztecs, anything like South or Central America native.
Okay.
And they just so happen to wield green magic, just like the Twilight race.
Interesting. And how does
They
this tie into Tears of the Kingdom?
people are thinking that the Zonai are descendants of these Twilight people.
Okay. Possibility.
Yeah, there was a couple of theories flying around. They both just so happen to have swirls as part of their art and architecture.
And yeah.
Besides that, I think there was also a mirror-like object in Breath of the Wild, but it was in the complete opposite location. People don't know if that's actually true or like if it's actually related or not, but oh well. That's a big theory to go down.
So this one's probably not as necessary, but if you were able to beat all those other games within 9 days, this is an easy one to pick, considering I know this is like also a very acclaimed addition to the Zelda franchise.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be missing out not playing, or you're not going to miss out on anything for playing it. It'll probably just be a fun experience, if I'm being honest.
I take it both of you haven't really played this game either.
I have actually played the beginning of this game probably a dozen times. I have never gotten past it though, just because I never Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. I think I got to like the second tier collecting a quest and
Oh
stopped.
gosh, yeah, that's when the game does get a little boring
Yeah.
and slow. Yeah, it's basically just better Ocarina of Time.
Oh,
Debatably,
whoa.
debatably,
There's some hot takes coming out of this game.
hot take. It's a better Ocarina of Time.
I don't know. I don't know if Twilight Princess has like a 99 on IGN or something or whatever. Ocarina has.
No,
So
it
that's where I
definitely
get
does
all
not
my
have as
gaming
high.
knowledge from. So I think you're wrong, actually.
Okay, the last set of games I have, it's actually a trilogy of games, and unfortunately, two of them are pretty much impossible to get. One of them,
Okay.
it's the Four Swords trilogy, which consists of Four Swords, Four Swords Adventures, and the Minish Cap. These three games, well, Four Swords and the Minish Cap were made by Capcom, and I think Four
Ooh.
Swords Adventures was a thing that Nintendo did in just to tie in the game.
Okay.
Yeah, and this was probably one of the strangest trilogy of games because even though Ganon appears as the main villain of Four Swords Adventures, most of these games don't actually feel very Zelda-like in
Yeah,
that
the Four
sense.
Swords is the one that has 4 links, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I always thought those were just like non-canon fun games, but also I've not looked into them. I think my main experience of the Four Swords games are Nintendo Power magazines. So
Honestly, I'd imagine that's like where 90% of the people have experienced this.
What consoles are they even for? Or the handhelds, I imagine.
Okay, so Four Swords is available on the GBA, but you need
Okay.
a link cable to actually play it. You need multiple copies and a link cable to actually play it. It's included with the Link to the Past on the Game Boy Advance. It was also re-released limited time on the DSi and 3DS. So
Oh.
in case you ever find someone with a very rare copy of this game on their DSi or 3DS and are willing to pay a fortune to get it and not reset the console to lose this game, sure, if you
Fair
want that.
enough.
Four Swords Adventures is even more rare. It's on the GameCube and only the GameCube.
Oh, I did not know that. I thought they were all GBA.
No, this one actually, well, it's half GB, I'd say. It was, think of it like how the Wii U kind of worked with the gamepad, but instead of the gamepad, you had the GBA plugging into the GameCube.
What? That's
Yeah.
insane.
So your main gameplay is on the TV, right? But all of the other stuff, like the maps, the objectives or items or whatnot, they're all on your GBA.
That is ridiculous.
And what made this game truly special is that the more GBAs you had plugged into this, the more features you'd unlock. So each player would have like some sort of special thing on their screen, on their Game Boy Advance screen, while they're all playing together on the TV.
Wow. That would be, I was going to say, and these games are difficult to come by, but if you can always legally dump them and play them on an emulator as well. But this one would be hard to do that with, I imagine.
It'd be very hard to set up. Yeah, it's expensive.
But the normal Four Swords, legally dump and play online is another option. If you
the game was technically free. That's just saying.
The game, yeah, okay.
The DSi 3DS version was technically free.
Oh,
I'm just gonna say that it was just free.
Yeah. Yeah. So that
we got,
and then Minish Cap, of course.
Yeah, the Minish Cap is on Game Boy Advance. This one was actually re-released. If you just so happen to have a Wii U and actually bought this game before the eShop closed, good job, good for you. If you bought a 3DS early, like when it was super expensive, Nintendo would have given this game to you for free. Good for you. But now it's actually on the Switch. If you pay for the Switch Online expansion pack.
Oh yeah.
Super expensive subscription. Yeah, so you could play this on the Switch if you pay for that subscription, and trust me, this is probably one of the best Zelda games you'll ever play.
Wow. I did not I knew you liked this game. I did not know where you were. Yeah, wow.
I
That's
rank this
high
game at S
praise.
tier. S
Oh.
tier. Like, alongside Breath of the Wild.
I think that calls me out for not watching our own videos.
This game was directed by the same director as Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. This was actually like his 4th Zelda game, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah, and it does have a segment, I think multiple segments, where it does take place up in the sky. It features a story of Link basically reforging a broken legendary blade. It's not the Master Sword, but it's the Force Sword, basically. Link. Let's see here. I think there's a prophecy in this game featuring Link without his iconic green tunic.
Oh.
And I think the people of the sky that you get to meet in this game, they have similar architecture and symbols to the Zonai from Breath of the Wild.
Interesting. Not to get you off on a tangent, but what is the lore reason behind there being 4 links?
Because the Force Sword kind of creates clones. In the Minish Cap, basically it's like you fully upgrade your sword and you get the Force Sword, and then you could create like all these temporary clones of Link that you can use for more powerful attacks and whatnot. And then Four Swords and Four Swords Adventures takes it even further and makes like 4 Links, each with their own like personalities and whatnot.
Okay.
But spoiler alert: Link does go back into 1 after defeating the final boss.
Okay. I guess that makes sense. You should use that more often. That sounds like a
Yeah, I'm
easy.
not. It's an easy win. It's probably more powerful than the
Yeah.
Master Sword. But overall, I don't particularly recommend playing Four Swords and Four Swords Adventures because it's just absurdly difficult to actually get them. Do play the Minish Cap though. You could probably run through this within 9 days, I'd say.
Oh. So that's your biggest recommendation, I guess, outside of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, outside of
is
Breath of the Wild, it's the Minish
Minish
Cap.
Cap.
Yeah.
If you had to like order them by like most recommended, the least recommended.
Okay, least recommend would be Four Swords and Four Swords Adventures. Those 2 games are impossible to get now. Next would be Twilight Princess. I'd say. Oh shoot! This is where it gets difficult, huh? Skyward Sword would probably be next because of how long the game is and how much you'll probably struggle through.
Okay.
Like you could watch through it as a movie. It'd be probably easier that way. I think Age of Calamity is also next because for similar reasons, you probably don't want to sit through hours of gameplay when you could just watch through the movie. A movie of cutscenes. And then the Minish Cap and then Breath of the Wild.
Fair enough. That sounds maybe not doable in 9 days, but if you're not getting the game on launch, then this is a good list to get you to tide you over until you I don't know, buy the game.
To be honest, you could just probably YouTube all these games in 9 days instead. But
that is
if
true.
you're up for the speedrunning challenge, sure, I can't stop you there.
Yeah. If you're a real gamer, you'll get through all of them in 9 days and also have access to Four Swords Adventures somehow.
Somehow legally.
Did they ever release Four Swords Adventures on the Wii U? Because that feels like that's insane.
For some reason they didn't. It would have been the perfect game. The Wii U was able to run GameCube games, so I'm not sure why they didn't do that, but
that's wild.
Yeah. Not as wild as I'm not even gonna make that joke.
Oh, no, I'm fair enough, I guess. I don't know what you're about to say, but
Thank you for joining us in discussing the Zelda games we recommend to play before Tears of the Kingdom. We would love it if you could follow us on Twitter and listen to future episodes on Spotify and iTunes. Join our community Discord server to continue today's discussion, and we'll see you next time on the Switch Clicks podcast.